All right. Fellow Kenyans, we are very delighted to be here this evening, and I really want to recognize some of the dignitaries who have joined us here today. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Denmark to Kenya, the Chief Administrative Secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have WHO here, represented by Dr. Rudy. We've got, of course, my colleague, Dr. Amos, the DG, Unicef, represented by Maniza, Sahara Africa, AstraZeneca Affairs Director, the Chair of our National Task Force, Bwana Kwale, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are very, very delighted as a Ministry of Health to be here today to really witness a very important time in our fight against the COVID virus. The Danish government has donated to the Kenyan people 360,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines. And certainly this comes at a time when we really, really needed the vaccine. Because as things stand, you know that we started off with about 1.2 million doses. And so far we have already used up all the vaccines. We only have 5,000 vaccines remaining, and we are very sure that those are going to be used in the next coming days. So had we not received this donation today, we would basically be having no vaccines in the next few coming weeks. But as of today, you know that we have already vaccinated 990 Kenyans with the first dose. We've been able to vaccinate 192,000 Kenyans for the second dose. And so really at this time with this donation, we will be able to roll out the vaccine to the rest of the people who had taken the first dose. So really for us as a ministry, we want to urge that the targeted priority groups and those who had taken the first dose really become the ones that receive the vaccines that has come in. We know very well that the first dose goes a long way to offer protection. So really, already we have about 1 million Kenyans who cannot really get to a very severe form of COVID because they got the initial first vaccine. But most of us now are at the point where we require the second one. So really our call to our fellow Kenyans is please, if you had received the first dose, from Wednesday, when I'm sure that the vaccine will have reached most facilities in Kenya, we would wish that in the health facilities around the country, we would wish that people get out and go for their second dose. This vaccine donation that we have received has got a life of about 1 month. So up to the end of July, the vaccines will be in good condition and can therefore be administered. I would also want to say that we are hopeful that in the next coming weeks, we'll be receiving some additional vaccines from the COVAX facility. About 180,000 vaccines will be coming into the COVAX facility to now add on to what we have already received. We are also aware that the US government has also offered to donate some vaccines, and Kenya is among the few countries that have already been identified to receive those vaccines. And so really we would want to thank very much our development partners, the governments that have friends to Kenya that have stepped out to ensure that we continue with the vaccination of our people. I think the other thing to say from a government point of view, we'll be procuring 10 million Johnson & Johnson vaccines, and we've already put our commitment letter to the AU platform from where we will be procuring these vaccines. And so really we are on the right trajectory as far as vaccinating our people is concerned. We expect the 10 million doses in August. So from August, we should have sufficient doses of vaccines that should carry us through at least for the next 2 to 3 months after we have received them. So really, finally, I would want to urge our fellow Kenyans that let us continue to adhere to the protocols. COVID is still with us. COVID is causing severe sickness amongst our people. COVID is causing death in very many of our people. So really, the vaccination is just an intervention which we will fully realize its benefit when we have achieved the herd immunity, which is about 30% of our population. So having said that, allow me to invite Maniza from Unicef to also just make a few remarks on this wonderful day when Kenya receives vaccines and really needed at this time.
Thank you, and good evening to everybody. Again, it's wonderful to join the Ministry of Health, the Government of Kenya on this very special day. As you all know, this is a time for global solidarity, and we really want to join the Government of Kenya in thanking the Government of Denmark for this donation of additional vaccines. Unicef is a partner to the Government of Kenya together with WHO, Gavi and CEPI as part of COVAX to really support countries in bringing vaccines into the country. So we're really glad to have supported the logistics and transport of these vaccines into Kenya. And importantly, we continue to also support the vaccination through correct communication, through cold chain infrastructure improvements, and just community engagement. It's really important. So we're really delighted to be part of this journey and want to commend the Government of Kenya about the fantastic job they've done so far in terms of COVID vaccination. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to invite Dr. Rudy from the WHO.
Good evening all, and we too are really delighted to be part of this celebration here, and we thank the Danish government for the donation to Kenya. It truly comes at an opportune time when Kenya has been very good in actually using the vaccines that are allocated to it. I think at this stage I'd also, on behalf of the COVAX facility, WHO, Unicef and the other partners, ask the other governments of the world to follow the Danish example of actually sharing the doses that they maybe have ordered at the beginning of the epidemic, and share those with the countries of Africa so that the whole world can be vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to invite the ambassador of the government of Denmark, whom we have worked very closely with, to have this cargo here. Please, Balozi.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, PS, and good evening, everybody. It's with immense pleasure and joy, really, that I stand here today to receive the vaccines coming from Denmark. First of all, I'd like to thank the government of Kenya, with whom we worked very, very close the last 3 weeks to actually realize this, and with an enormous support and help from both Unicef and WHO and also AstraZeneca, because I have come to realize that it's not easy to transport vaccines around the world these days. And since this is the first time that we do a bilateral donation, so many new things had to be invented as we went along. But through the really hard work and determination of everybody involved, we managed to get the vaccines here in Kenya today, and which should be more than enough time to use all the vaccines, the 360,000 that are come here from Copenhagen, before the expiry date of end of July. And then a question I've been having many times the last days is, why did Denmark end up sending the first big donation to Kenya? And I think there are several elements in this. First of all, the Kenyan government has been very proactive, reaching out to all development partners and international countries to actually see how we could work together to realize this. So I was called directly by CS Omamo, I think a month ago, asking, is there any way that Denmark and Kenya can collaborate on this endeavor? Then furthermore, in Copenhagen, they were looking at the options, and Unicef Denmark, which is organizing all the logistics and transport, they said, but listen, Kenya is one of the countries that has actually been really effective in rolling out the vaccines that they have had already with very high effectiveness. and we want to make sure that we send these vaccines to a country where they can actually deliver and roll out the vaccines within the time frame that we have available. So these are some of the reasons, but of course, above all of that, Denmark and Kenya has been a strong partner since independence, and we are working both bilaterally but also through Team Europe to actually help each other in any way we can. And as was said before, I think we all need international solidarity in this pandemic, and I think everybody is trying as hard as they can to help everybody as best as we can in this very, very difficult situation. So again, I'm just really happy that we managed and that it was possible for Denmark to make this donation, and I'm so much looking forward to seeing these being rolled out in the health centers and hospitals of Kenya to the benefit of the Kenyan people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I am going to invite the Chief Administrative Secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Ababu Namwamba. We have been working very, very closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to see how we mobilize vaccines from across the world. And you see the effort has actually borne fruit. Karibu CAS.
Asante sana PS. Niseme kwamba ni jioni njema sana tunaposimama hapa kwenye huu uwanja wa ndege wa Jomo Kenyatta kupokea chanjo 1360, na kwa niaba ya Wizara ya Masuala ya Nchi za Kigeni na serikali ya Kenya kwa jumla, nataka kutoa shukrani yetu, shukrani ya dhati kabisa kwa serikali ya taifa la Denmark kwa kutoa msaada huu, na vile marafiki zetu wengine ambao tayari wametoa msaada kama vile msaada wa COVAX, na hata taifa la Marekani ambalo tayari limethibitisha ya kwamba litaweza kutoa msaada mwingine wa chanjo 1180. Vita dhidi ya virusi vya COVID tutaweza tu kushinda kupitia ushirikiano ndani ya serikali, na ndio sababu mumeshuhudia ushirikiano wa karibu sana katika kati ya wizara na idara zote za serikali, hasa ushirikiano kati yetu sisi kama Wizara ya Masuala ya Nchi za Kigeni na Wizara ya Afya, na tutaendeleza ushirikiano huo. Jukumu letu katika Wizara ya Masuala ya Nchi za Kigeni ni kuimarisha na kudhibiti uhusiano kati ya Kenya na mataifa ya kigeni, na tumekuwa mstari wa mbele kutumia fursa hiyo kutekeleza jukumu hilo, kuhakikisha kwamba tunasaidiana na marafiki wa Kenya ulimwengu kote. And therefore let me just reiterate that Kenya places a premium on this global solidarity. Solidarity among nations of the world, solidarity with important institutions like WHO, Unicef, and other UN agencies, and also solidarity at a multilateral level, solidarity within the UN system, solidarity with the regional organizations like the United Nations, the African Union, the East African Community. We place a premium on that solidarity. And it's through that solidarity that we'll win this war. And for us as the Kenyan government, under the whole of government approach, we work seamlessly together. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs builds the linkages across the world. The Ministry of Health rolls out the programs. So it's a very seamless relationship that manifests the whole of government approach as a policy in government. Let me just conclude by saying that vaccination is key, is a key step in returning the world to normalcy. Today you are starting to see the world opening up. We are watching the Euros going on right now in across Europe, and fans are getting back to the stadia. I was watching a game of golf in the US, and fans are back to watch and cheer their favorite sportsmen and women. And this confidence is arising.
Right, and that is a press briefing currently ongoing at the Jomo Kenyatta International